Hmm. Okay, so this one, that one. Now what I want is this one. I gotta go. Okay. All right. Good morning. Let me see here. What's going on? Okay. Okay. Back on track. Oop. To fix the camera. Story of life. Oh yeah, yeah. Man, I worked out last night. Good morning. If anybody's there. Only what 7 o'clock, so it's not too bad. Yeah, day in Japan. Yeah, here we go. Nice day. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah. We gotta change my stuff here. Anyways, it's just I don't know. Yeah, there you go. This guy. Not much of a like I say it's oh I got this this come on, I don't need that. So trying to readjust the stuff and then yeah, today's a different day. Birthday day today, 61. So, anyways, how's it sound? Man, I kind of just went out workout last night, so kind of like was into a deep sleep. Did my homework. Everything else is pretty good. So, yeah, just trying to go through my stuff. But yeah, it's being here is okay. It's just it's going to take some time to get adjusted to this type of life. It's not the U.S. and it's not Canada. Definitely not. You know. So these are just pictures of friends and stuff, karaoke stuff, whatever. Uh, they're really big on their karaoke. I can tell you that right now. I like that stuff. Um, yeah. So like I say, it'll be school's in a while, so it's at 9 o'clock, 9:30. So that's pretty good. So yeah, just trying to figure this life out is not easy. You know, the this morning I'm just trying to get everything. Our lunch is made, homework is done. There's a lot of homework, and it's not easy. It's I mean, a lot of it is copying stuff, like repeating, but the majority of it is just trying to remember all these characters right now. We're in the kanji mode, so kanji is crazy, like crazy. I just like let me see if I can get my stuff out of here. Uh, uh, takes a little longer now because I got this. The like I say, when the streaming is going on, when I got streaming going on, the computer's slower, right? So it takes a little longer. So if I go, yeah, I just want to show you kanji a little bit. So man, it's taking forever to load now. There we go. That's all bullshit. Let me get rid of this. Um, if I get rid of all this shit, too much crap. Delete all this bullshit. Where's my kanji? There it is. Kanji here. Oh man, wrong page again. There we go. So let me see here. Yeah, it's not in order. Anyways, so if I go here, here's what I'm trying to learn. right. This is not Japanese. Well, it's Japanese, but it's not. There's this is like the third language. So some of it could be easy to remember, but so it gets heavy. Like I say, like it gets heavy to deal with because uh yeah, go down. No. Uh yeah, like this, shrink it down a little bit. Oh, come on. Destiny stuff is not easy. So that's what I'm studying right now. Oh man, crazy. So yeah, so you got Yama's mountain, Kawa's river. This one is 10, which is basically rice paddies. So, basically, like, so yeah, and it's how do you say, they use it in writing all the time. So when you want to read, you have to be able to read this within the Japanese language. So, and it has many different meaning. Right, the one down here, Mizu there, that's that's water, right? This is water. So yeah, anyways, and this is key. So the tree, uh, yes, it adds up, right? But then you have like the problem is not that is you have a lot of characters, right? So crazy. So yeah, this would be 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the numbers, but in a different meaning, right? So 3 is also March. It also means other things. Uh, yeah, and then you get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 100. Cordoba 10. Yeah, so 1,000. Uh, anyway, so you get an idea, like so, but they have different meanings, right? So, and you got to remember this stuff, and so depending on what they say, where it's written at, it's it means different things, right? So, like this one, the little spike here, that's Hiko means person. So yeah, it gets heavy, right? So and then there's 5,000 of them. So at my first test in December, I have to know 80 of them. So I have 80 of those to remember and to be able to use when I'm reading, right? So the questions are going to be in Japanese, and the science kanji is going to be in there. And guess what? I got to be able to read that, understand it, and answer the question. So there you go. Welcome to Japan. So yeah, that's fun. It's just, man, they don't make it easy. This language is not easy. This is kanji. So to get the hiragana, well, the hiragana and katakana, I know those ones okay. This is this is kanji, and this is the first 80 characters. Those are the first 80 characters I gotta remember. Every one, the meaning, sounds, when they're in a sentence, what do they mean, right? So, uh, yeah, there's quite a few, right? And I gotta be able to write them. Don't ask me why I'm trying to do this. It's a challenge, crazy challenge, guys. This is the kanji. That's the. Let me see if I get down the page. So yeah, so I can do probably 15, 16 characters. Okay, I got 80 to do, and there's the 80 right here. 80 to do, 80 to learn for December test. So every day I learn a little bit more, trying to. So when I walk in the city and I look at advertisement or billboards or whatever, there's kanji in all of it. So I try to practice reading that. So everywhere, magazines and newspaper, whatever. So there you go. Yeah, these are pretty easy because that's the mountains. Looks like mountains, like a river, and the rice fields. Chu or the sun, right? This is supposed to be the sun or Sunday. And then depending if it's written in with another character, it's called Japan. So then you got moon or Monday or January. This is the fire. Uh, fire, Tuesday volcano. So this with the mountain makes volcano, right? So things like that, right? Water, and then water with these characters makes Wednesday. Don't ask me why. And he said this with rice field. So water with the with this one makes rice field. So this is I think rice. And then anyways, yeah. So and then yeah, kotoba is it could be money or gold or Friday. So there's a meaning for it. I don't really understand it yet, but you guys get an idea that it's not an easy language. This is the third language to learn. So been here 5 months now, and so I'm just starting that. So it takes years to get this language down. It literally takes years. Um, so it's one of those things that you got to do the best you can with what you got, and hope I can get that first test done, right? N5, which is the first one. And then my goal was to get to N4, maybe N3, but yeah, that's N3 might be a little too far for me, but N5 is what I'm looking to get to. So yeah, this is just traveling around the countryside, and this is Toyoka, the north, uh, not the north, but straight up to the coastline of Japan. Uh, and then coffee shops, things like that. So, one of the things I want to say is that it's hard to get things done here because they have a different pace, right? They don't they don't function like we do. Uh, they got their own pace, and there's always going to be time to do stuff. Yeah, they got their own crazy hours of working, right? They work crazy hours or whatever, like anybody else, right? It's no different than anywhere else. I don't think. I don't see that, but it's just that the way they do things is set in stone sometimes, and it makes it hard to adapt, right? Like the paperwork is a pain in the ass. Like they do everything takes forever to do. So getting me organized here took almost 3 months, easy. I mean, in the U.S., it would have took a week at most. So, and so the pace is different, right? They do walk fast, and they want to get to work fast, and they want to get home fast, like anybody else. Uh, it's just a different world, right? It's not like what I'm used to, right? People don't talk to each other, so that's another thing too that I'm not used to. They don't just talk around and just see how's it going and all that. They don't. They just leave you alone to deal with your own stuff, and then they'll be there to help you, give you advice or whatever. But they're not going to be there for just check up on you. They're not going to do that. So you're pretty much on your own, right? And that's the part that gets a little tough at school. They haven't learned that the majority of the students are struggling, but there's no way for them to help them out, right? So Greentown doing well. Let's see what's going on. Close this up. Yeah, I don't. Great. Let's see. I should go check my YouTube channel for sure. Here. Uh, yeah. Uh, I gotta close that. Okay, don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Okay, so Yeah, I'm just trying to get to my channel to see how. That's weird. Okay, crazy. And my daughter right there. So yeah, the other thing that makes it hard is when you're in Japan. There's a lot of bullshit news about like negative stuff, right? If you go on the web or stuff about Japan, and I mean, it's no perfect place to live, right? Let's be honest. There's no perfect place to live, and a lot of people think that like Japan is so great. Yeah, it's a country like anybody else, and a lot of people think that it's this amazing place to be, but it's just a country like anybody else, right? And like anywhere else. So yeah, there's ups and downs and everything else. The thing that I find difficult is when you go online, for example, and just and you get a lot of this, right? A lot of how do you say a little bit. So let's say living in Japan or whatever, and a lot of it is it's not very positive, right? I mean, it's because they're comparing it to another place instead of just saying this is how it's going to be, right? Yeah, we live in a world where foreigners, no matter where you're at, they're going to be scapegoats, right? They're going to be pointed out and say, "Hey, it's my life is miserable because of it's their fault." Right? So that's we're having that in the U.S. We got that in Canada. We got that in Europe. We got that everywhere. And some of it might be true. Some of it is not. In Japan, they seem to think that um, the narrative is basically pushed towards a lot of discontent, I guess, towards foreigners. And but all it takes is one bad apple, and they just turn the whole thing into this basic rhetoric of we hate all of you guys, and we don't want you here and all that. And the government definitely creates that in their own way, right? Because if the truth comes out, they'd be also in bad trouble because I'm sure they're not running the country perfectly, right? And they have to distract people for their own things, for their own good, right? And it's like that anywhere in the world, right? It doesn't matter where you go, you're gonna have that. So we have that in the U.S. So that's the way it goes, right? All our problems will be solved when we get rid of the foreigners. Everything will be better if we get rid of these people, or the reason our life is miserable is because of these people. And pointing the finger doesn't really solve any problem, right? You can build walls and throw people out, but at the end of the day, we're all on the same planet, right? We're all trying to make a living, right? We're all trying to adapt. I'm not here to make money, right? A lot of people think that, no, I'm here to because I thought that Japan could be a cool place to be, and also, they're educated, they have free transportation, they have healthcare, they have uh, you know culture that's been around for a little bit, right? And so there's a lot of richness here. The people is why I'm here, right? I'm not so much here for the touristy part. I do like to travel, but it's not my main purpose. I just like to be with people. I like to see what people are doing, and so yeah. So a lot of the stuff is negative when it comes to Japan, right? And it's I think bad news sells, good news doesn't, right? People want to have media. They don't look at good news; they look at bad news, which is kind of weird. Instead of just looking at the good stuff, weather's nice, be happy with what you have. And so yeah, it's one of the things that makes it hard. And the government is changing a lot their views and stuff. And so when they're doing new laws and new rules, and you just got to adapt. I'll see what happens. Like I say, I'm just a guest here. guest and I'm learning Japanese and I got a little apartment and I don't have a car, I don't have a bike. Uh, I cook a lot of my food, which I'll be doing there in a minute because I gotta get going. But I wanted to say, yeah, like I say, I'm okay, uh, but it's a roller coaster. Uh, it's it's not easy find something here where I have to figure out what I'm doing and then w- what's my purpose, right? Why am I here, right? It was easier in the beginning, it's like I'll do this, I'll do that when I get here. But then when you get here, you realize my hands are tied on a lot of stuff. I can't really do anything here like I would in North America. I don't have the freedom to do the things that I want to do. I have freedom to do, yeah, to spend money and to travel and to whatever. But starting projects here, uh, if I want to coach, if I want to do any kind of small business or trying to socialize, uh, they love their permits. They love their certification, right? I can't fly drones here, right? Like I got a drone certification in the U.S. or Canada, whatever, but I can't do it here, right? It doesn't apply, so I have to do drone certification here. Uh, so I can do commercial drone flying, whatever. But it's in Japanese, so it's going to school for another 3 to 6 months, right? And then paying that, and all in Japanese. There's no English, right? So that's one thing. Basketball is the one that makes me take a little bit. I can't do anything with basketball, even though I coach or train or whatever. I have no recognition if I don't have coach certification in Japanese. So they have a whole set of classes, and it's money, and it's time, and it's in Japanese, and it's reading and writing and verbal test, right? And it's like crazy. It's like, okay, so I have to learn, which I understand, but I can't. So I have to go to school for coaching basketball, right? Right now, I can't even be hired as a coach. I can't be hired as anything, right? Nothing. They won't even look at you. So that's kind of sucks. So it's one of those things, right? You want to do something here, but you're all the knowledge that you have, all the experience you have, doesn't translate here. So it's more like you're just a worker, right? You're just a worker unless you learn Japanese. But even if I do learn Japanese in five, that still doesn't really give me what I need to explain aquaculture, explain fish farming, and then explain basketball and you know drone school certification, all that stuff. It doesn't. It'll help me go through the classes, but so if I do, let's say, 2 years of school, right? So I got to do 2 years to get N4, hopefully. So I hope I can get there. I'm going to try real hard. So then that's one thing. But then I got to go back to school for coaching, right? Because they're not going to take, I have to be certified. So they have to go to school. I got to go to school for that. So how many years of school do I want to do, right? I mean, today's my birthday. I'm in good shape. I'm all right. I'm smart. I don't get tired and all that. But it's 2 years of school just to get to N4. N4 is still not good enough. I mean, I've been recommended to get to N3, especially with the new laws and stuff. And I'm like, N3, well, that's 3 years. So I'm sitting there like, wow, I might be able to really push it in 2 years. But at the rate I'm going and learning, I'll be lucky to do N4 in 2 years, right? Well, I've been here 6 months, let's say. So another year and a half, I'll get to N4 certification for Japanese language. So I got to make some decisions here what my future is going to be if I'm going to be here. Is it worth it to be here to do this for 2 or 3 years? Well, I could be doing something else more productive with my skills in a different country. So it looks great on paper, right? Living here, but I don't want to be a worker. I want to be someone that contributes to society. So how the hell do I do that if I can't get certified? And so that's the question I'm answering myself every week. Every week I go through that, and I just don't try to think too hard. But when I see all this narrative, right, in 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 Japan about the negative sides of being here, all this bullshit stuff. It doesn't make it easier, right? You see all this stuff that done in Japan. There's a lot of this shit, right? And then life is better here, but then not really. I'd say my life is pretty good in the U.S. I'm not complaining, doing pretty good, and uh, yeah, people like getting job. That's a big issue, right? Uh, I've been looking for jobs right now, just basic stuff, and got a lot of interviews, but nobody. They don't want you unless you have some kind of like higher certification. I don't have certification yet, so that's going to be in December, my first one, but that's still not high enough. So yeah, I could go work in a probably a restaurant shop, cleaning tables and stuff like that. But and then the basic, cleaning toilets, and cleaning hotel rooms, and packing shelves in stores, things like that. I can do probably get stuff like that, but that doesn't pay much, and the hours are very not conducive to me because right now I got school in the morning, so getting work here is not as easy as people think it is. They're like, oh, we need, yeah, they have a shorter workers, have a shortage in workers for sure, but the people themselves that do the hiring want Japanese people. They don't want foreigners because then it means, oh, we got to get their language together. We got to, help them out. We got to do this, blah, blah, blah. So it's a bit of coming into a country where they're in the comfort zone for again millennia, and then suddenly we come in because they need us. But it's like it's a little bit more in the effort that they want to put into to have us here, right? So some companies that do speak English do well, but majority of people here don't even can't even say hi, right? In Japanese, in English. So the language barrier is real. It's real. I mean, when I first got here and I went into this class, I was tired from the trip. But I went to class and I realized it was all Japanese. I was like, oh man, I thought the teachers spoke English and they didn't. They might have spoke like 10 words, but they don't even make the effort, right? Uh, my teacher this semester, whatever, the main one, she I don't think she knows 5 words. And she's young, right? She's young. She's got to be in maybe 30s. No, I would say, oh, she's not in her 40s, right? She's maybe high 20s or 30s. So, and she does even, and she won't make the effort, right? She won't make the effort, which is okay. I get it. I get it. She won't make the effort to say anything in English, but she'll definitely doesn't even, she just wants to, everything's in Japanese. So it's like, so when you're going to class and they're talking and suddenly she gets into that fast mode of talking fast, you get lost. Like, what the hell did you just say? But and we're working on this and we're working on that and we're going to do this today and we're going to work on writing, work on reading, work on grammar, whatever. I get some of the words right, but you know, in the beginning it was like what the hell? And then I go to the grocery store and I'm trying to look for something, and the translators aren't working, and I'm just want like painkillers, right? Like ibuprofen or some Tylenol, and I couldn't explain to the lady what I'm trying to do. And then she kept saying, "Oh, you're injured. You need to go to the hospital." That was the only thing that she kept asking. I said, "I'm not injured. I just got a headache. I've been Tylenol." And later on, I ended up finding on a different shelf, but they called it something else, right? But one of those things, right? You get frustrated really easy if you're not patient. So frustrated with everything, right? So if you got to learn the language, right? And personally, I don't know how they're going to make it in the future. There's a It's really hard to do business here, right? You want to do business here, you got to talk Japanese. You want to get anything done, you got to talk Japanese, and losing a lot of people every year is not going to help them with their language, right? They If you're losing 1 million people a year in this country, you're losing 1 million people that speak Japanese. There's not 1 million people learning Japanese every year. There isn't. There's not. Japanese is not spoken in any other country. Uh, so they got to figure out a way to meet you in the middle. And that's where I think that they're not doing that. And they're probably not going to do that. So it's you come here, you follow our rule, you do the stuff we do, we tell you what to do, and live this way, and you're okay. But it's hard. It's hard, and even the kids at school, it's hard. Most of the kids at school can't find jobs. A lot of them are there as tourists. Though. They come in and they get the 1 year visa, and they go to school, and they have the rest of the day to move around, right? And the weekends off and the vacation. So, and then they socialize, and so yeah, some of them may have purpose, but I do meet a lot of them that are just there to as a learning experience, sabbatical year, however you want to call it, year off, school, college, or whatever, and see if they can do something here. So it's kind of fun for them. But when you want to look at the big picture and trying to say, hey, I'm going to be here for a job and I'm going to try to live here and all this, the reality sets in and goes, holy shit, this is not what I thought it was. And the option is not very good. There's potential, there's a future here, possibly. I'm going to have to go through the first year and then go from there. That's where I'm at. So that's all I wanted to say this morning. I'm going to get myself a little breakfast and go from there, and then do a bit of reading before going to class, and then so that's the plan today. And then yeah, I still got a long way to go because it's only like 7:30 or so. Yeah. I just wanted to say hi and give you a little insight on here. It is fun. It is different. The villages are great. Like I like to travel stuff, and it's not very expensive. The trains are easy to get by, and then so like I say, it's a lot of fun, right? And I do what I can with what I've got, and trying to see if anybody. Yeah, I don't think anybody's here. Yeah, that was yesterday. Yeah, I don't have anybody. Yeah, uh, coming over and saying hi. One day I will. It's kind of funny, but if I click on that and see if there's anybody here. But I gotta check the chat room. I don't think it has a chat. Yeah. So yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, they do all the stuff, and yeah, this is automatic messages all the time. And watching is me, just me. But you got to do something, and it's just a way for me to share a message, with everybody, and what I do for what do you say for not a living. I wouldn't say living uh, as a student, right? So I want to get out of here. Go back to my channel. So yeah, here we are, me. So doing my stuff, I mean, I used to be fish farming and then basketball training and raising a family, and now I'm here trying new challenge, right? Trying to do new challenge in life and see where I'm going to go and see if there's any possibility of doing something here. That's the big thing for me. And it is a challenge, it's not going to hurt anybody for me to try this out and see where it leads, right? And it's uh it's hard. It's hard to stay focused, right? It's easy to get on the dark path and not be able to get to where I want to go. And I do what I can with what I've got, and uh, I love the traveling part. I love going to the countryside and meeting people. My big thing is social stuff, right? So I do. I like to go and train a bunch of kids in the gym right now. I'm doing that. Um, I got to do tonight again. So 3 times a week now we're doing that. So and so I got let's see here. Yeah, a little clip, nothing major. Right. So I go here and I go here. So little clips of the guy. Oops, no, wrong clip. So yeah, so I got Yuki, I got Tomo, and I got Honoka. So Honoka there. So they're 24, 25, and I think she's 23. So 23, 24, 25. So it's kind of fun to do stuff and encourage them to do stuff. Yeah, give them some training, right? Give them some pointers on how to train and what to work on. So I was just showing them different stuff and the warm up. So it's like an hour and a half. Do an hour and a half with them. So which is fun. And then so yeah, so I do a bunch of stuff, and then there's this cool stuff, and yeah, so uh, this is Osan. She sits next to me. She's from Taiwan. She's 30 something, I think, 30, right? And then so that was a day back from Taiwan. She spent the vacation in Taiwan with her family. She misses her family, mom and dad, and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, you get to meet a lot of cool people, right? She's got lots of, how do you say it? Lots of different things going on, right? And they keep busy, and uh, they're still trying to figure out what they want to do, countryside stuff. So you get an idea, the countryside is nice. The city, not so much. So yeah, countryside, right? So lots of green, lots of mountains. So uh, trains are empty though. In the countryside, they're really empty. Right? So gives an idea, villages and stuff. So this is touristy area. Well, mostly common, but there's no. I haven't seen any. A lot of these places, I haven't seen a lot of foreigners. All I see is Japanese. They don't have the. So here's a bit of coastline. So this is the coastline in Toyoka. So that's nice, right? You know, and nice and rocky shoreline, nice and rocky. So it's gorgeous, right? That's just the little speck of coastline of the north, right? So and small villages, real small, mostly onsen, so hot spring villages. Where there's a lot of want to take a hot spring bath and relax, and get massages and whatever, eat good food, good place to be, right? So it is nice, and that's how I get to meet people. I meet a lot of people on the way because I'm by myself. So a lot of people will approach me and ask me where I'm from. Classic. Where are you from? America Gin. That's what it says. America. And America Gin is I'm American. So yeah, you get to learn the basics. I've got basic words, basic phrases, basic introduction, directions. What I want to eat. How much is this? Where is this? How you doing? Blah blah blah. So I get a lot of the basic stuff. Maybe I'll start talking a little bit more Japanese, so Japanese people can watch this. That's going to be hard, really hard, but it's a goal of mine to do a bit of streaming in Japanese. That'll be fun. I can do it in French, so I'll do French streaming and I'll do Japanese streaming on the side, like little snippets, right? And then I'll do Japanese. I'll do English. So hey, hopefully I can attract some people, and then we can have discussions. I want to discuss. I want to discuss stuff. I want to see what people think, and then maybe show me a show me a side of life that I'm not familiar with, right? Or I haven't thought about. So I'm looking at discussion stuff like that. It's not just about me; it's about life. So this is why I want to do stuff like that. That's where I want to get to when it comes to streaming is share, also exchange, right? Sharing is not just a one-way street, it's a two-way street, right? It's like having friends. It's not about me, it's about them. right? So it'd be nice to be able to share and exchange and see what people have to say about this place or what I'm doing or what I'm not doing or what I should be doing and what I did or didn't do right, right? So that's the goal for me is to do those things. So that's why I'm trying to stream. So I want to have some kind of discussion about this place, Japan in general, not just the foreigner stuff, right? Japan, what do people do here, right? That's why I like to meet a lot of people and talk to and see what they're doing. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody here. They won't talk to you, but I'll talk to them, right? And so that's what I do. And so far, I haven't been rejected. I just literally go to anybody, well, mostly in the restaurants or in coffee shops or when they're settling down, not when they're walking down the street, right? And they got a purpose. But when they're sitting around, they're just at the aquarium or in the parks, or when they're more like that they're more like down, like relaxed, right? Not like, oh my god, I'm in a rush. So I'm not I'm not gonna approach them that much, but in restaurants and in pubs and karaoke places or grocery shopping or no, not even grocery shopping, but a situation where I know that's more relaxed and you can just enjoy it and talk to people. That's when I talk to them, and so that makes it exciting. Makes it exciting. You get to see what they're doing, meet a lot of people. They're very excited to talk to you. And then I have the opposite. I have people that come straight up to me and ask me, "Hey, how's it going? Where are you from?" It's like what? Okay, so that's kind of nice. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. It's time for me to get going. So I'm just gonna go here, get back to that. So it's a lot of fun, right? So we got my own thing going. So yeah, there was this little kid that met me right at the beginning. There he is. I can't remember his name. He talked to me for literally 30, 40 minutes. And he speaks English, and his dad doesn't. So that was kind of fun. And I just stepped out of the bus to go to the aquarium, right? Just stepped out of the bus. You know, just trying to get my bearings. And then he pulls on my shirt and he's like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "What?" It's like, that's exactly how it went. I was like, what? And I'm looking at him because I was like, "You American?" I didn't say that, but I'm like, "You speak English?" I was like, "Yes, I study every day English." And he's 9 years old. And his dad, I talked to his dad. So, oh, your son. And he looks at me like he doesn't speak English. And I was like, what? So that was funny. So his son was translating for him, and he was asking me all these questions about where I'm from and what I'm doing here. What's my favorite food? Classic. What's my favorite Japanese food? Where's my favorite town? Uh, where's your favorite spot in Japan? What's your favorite this and that and here, sports and everything else. So basketball. And then he was telling me he wants to be a pilot. And, and I'm like, you want to be a pilot? How old are you again? 9? Okay, well, that's good. He's got some focus, right? And so we know kids at that age to learn English, they have to do it on their own. It's not in school. So they don't teach English in school, right? So he has to learn on his own. And I was like, God damn it. That guy is, you know, that guy's got his stuff together for a 9-year-old kid. Anyways, and so it was all that and the sports. But he was just asking a lot of questions. And I was just trying to explain to him what I was doing. Like to train guys in basketball and I like to mentorship. I like to do aquaculture. I like to build stuff. I like to explore and discover who I am. Things like that. And basic, simple stuff. So that was kind of nice, right? And it happened a few times, and this time I was able to get a picture with him, and he was, and it was kind of quick because, he was waiting for his bus. And anyway, so and then yeah, so he took pictures of me too. So it was kind of like when I click, 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 and I was like, okay. I was like, so it was funny. So yeah, I get a lot of that. I get a lot of older people that come over to me and says, "Hey, how you doing? Where you come from? And thanks for being here." And they'll shake your hand for like 30 seconds. So it's funny. So there's some good stuff. This is why I'm here, right? For the youth, uh, trying to give some good a bit of guidance and advice. And I'm not trying to tell them what to do with their life. I'm trying to encourage them to to find the good, right? Find the good and stuff like that, right? It's rather than oh, microphone. How's that working? A little bit better. My microphone's a little farther away. I just realized. Anyways, so that's where I'm at. So I'll let you guys at that. There's some good people here, and that's why I'm here. I'm not here because of the government. I'm not here because of the money. I'm not here because you know I don't like. I still love where I come from, and so I'm here as a challenge to myself. And if I don't do it or try it, then I'll regret it, right? So I don't want regrets too much. So I give the best I got. I give my best shot here, and we'll see what happens, and we'll go from there, right? So yeah, some karaoke nights in the middle of different cities. This is not Osaka. This is Toyooka. So you get to meet a bunch of people and do crazy stuff, right? And so it's fun, right? And I'll eat different foods and try different things and go to coffee shops and but you know meet people like yeah. So it's all fun, right? So everybody's got a life to live and everybody's trying to do their best and I'm just trying to see if I can do something here and trying to integrate a little bit. So hopefully we'll have some people give me questions or have discussions and we'll go from there. Have a good day, guys. Bye. Happy birthday to me. Oof, 61, guys. I have to change my web page.